Shout out to my advanced members, Scorpio King 3, Radium TX, Rage 1, and Walk on Your Side. Thank you for being high-level members of the Billionaire Ninjas Club. Hello, Star Citizens, and welcome to another Star Citizen Nightly. I thought this would be a quick one, but it's not going to be a quick one because we got a monthly report to go over. I kind of went through a little bit just to try to make it a little faster. I don't want another 30-minute one, but we'll see how long it takes. As always, we're doing our monthly ship giveaway, so make sure you like, leave a comment, dislike, or you could like or dislike, doesn't matter. And make sure you're subscribed to be entered to win that. The ship that we're giving away is one that I can't talk about yet. So again, make sure you do those things. Also, if you're a member, you're automatically entered to win, as I stated before. So you guys don't have to do any of that stuff. Of course, you can participate as much as you want, you know, for I guess extra winnings or whatever, right? So it's gonna be, I can't wait. I really enjoy this whole content creation thing because, especially like the giveaways, I know it's like, you know, I'm spending money and stuff, but like even when CIG participates with me, it's that, I don't know, it's just a great feeling. I don't know. I like giving stuff away. I don't know. I think partially it's like, you know, there's some strategy to it as far as doing giveaways with YouTube and stuff, obviously, but like I genuinely enjoy like that like surprise when people win and they get their gifts and people are like super appreciative and stuff. It just makes me want to do more giveaways, but I can't afford it yet. But I'm starting to be able to afford more things because of the success of the channel, so it's fun. Anyway, going into the roadmap roundup. So there wasn't one, basically. So they did say this: Alpha 3.24 and its related content will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on various systematic gameplay features, which means it has had a lengthier Evocadian PTU than normal. The team is fully focused on closing the patch out while also wrapping up our release intentions for the rest of the year. We've made solid progress in mapping this out, and you can look forward to an update, including new additions to the progress tracker in our next roadmap update. So they're basically promising that the next one will have some stuff in it. So I think the reason that we haven't had a roadmap roundup is because I think they anticipated that 3.24 would already, all the stuff in 3.24 would already be out. And I think there's some stuff that's releasing with 3.24 that's not released. Actually, I can confirm that there's some stuff in 3.24 that most people don't know is coming. And because of that, I feel a lot better that 3.24 was pushed back. And I also feel a lot better that we do not have a roadmap roundup, because I think people are going to be happy when 3.24 goes live. I think, you know, I had some conversations that made me understand how much background stuff had to change in order to make the things happen as far as the hangars and the persistence of the hangars. There was a lot of stuff that needed to be changed, and I had no idea. It touched so many things in the game that it was ridiculous. And then of course the cargo refactor, or the hauling missions, the freight elevator, that like it, when you think about it, we're getting 3 patches worth of stuff, I feel like. But it did take 9 months, so it's the same thing almost, right? It's like well, 9 months since, you know, the last patch, right, or something like that. So I feel like we didn't get like, you know, 3.23.5 and .6 and .7 or all that stuff. But I feel like what we're getting is like it matches up with how long we waited. It's starting to make sense to me now. Like, I'm not a game developer, so I can't really go into that stuff, but like it makes more sense now that I've had a few people, I've had conversation with a few people. I'm not as upset. Moving on. So, you know, I like to look at all the patch notes for the PTU. Speaking of which, I have to update mine. The Hornet is getting some serious attention. I was not prepared for the Hornet to get so much attention. I mean, I know that they're just like tweaking the flight, but this is a lot of tweaking. So there's things I want to say. I'm gonna say this: if you have an old Hornet and you're looking forward to new Hornets, I am also looking forward to new Hornets, and I think this is very interesting that the Hornet is getting so many flight tweaks. I would love to see let's say a Hornet Ghost Mark II that comes out. I mean, yeah, that would be really cool. I would love to see what that's like. And then some balancing to make sure that the F7A is still a solid ship. Yeah. Anyway, the bug fixes, ATC, I'm going to read these because, you know, this is the most current available public patch that people can play. So the ATC, these are things that have been fixed, mind you. ATC assigns the player to an already occupied hangar. Leaving the menu with the ship on pad does not stow personal hangar for next shard joined. Pressing enter when interacting with any terminal opens the global chat, causing player to lose game interaction. That happened to me actually. While if you go and watch my personal hangar extra large video, it happened to me. I was like, why does that keep popping up? And that's what it was. The insert interaction for the crypto key lost on server crash recovery during re-uplinked. The auto loading costs are not displayed on commodity kiosk. It's possible to kill another player in the hangar elevator on the way to a personal hangar, even though the trespassing timer is set to 0. So that's fixed. Oh yeah, so somebody had posted that on Reddit, and I thought it was really interesting because I was looking and I was like, wait, if the timer's set to 0, how can they even get in the elevator with you? And then I was like, oh, well, the elevators don't count as part of the hangars. So it makes sense. Then the last one, the contract availability text for missions is blurry and hard to read, so they fixed that. So let's move on to the big news here. All right, so we still don't have a blockade runner, but let's move on to the big news. So this is the PU monthly report. This is the stuff that was done in July. So everything that we're going to say from here going forward is stuff that's already been completed. That doesn't mean that entire task has been completed. This part of the task has been completed. But there was some big stuff in here, and that was something that I was not prepared for. So yeah, let's just get into it. So on the AI features, for the AI features, I thought I read through this. I didn't really see anything that was like super amazing to me. I think this is one of the ones where you're gonna have to see like what's interesting to you. It's really just, it seems like more like bug fixes to me. I think, yeah, it mostly just seemed like they're making the AI. There was some work on AI that moved forward. With AI tech, I felt like both of these were pretty big. So for AI tech, the team continued working on the AI vision and movement systems for server meshing. This will allow NPCs to transition from one server to another without losing their previous context. So whatever they were doing before in the previous server, they'll be continuing to do in the next server. So yeah, I think server meshing is moving along, and that's what I like to hear, is that server meshing is moving along. Various optimizations were made too, including to the observable and vision components and to collision avoidance when NPCs fly ships and drive ground vehicles. Updates were also made to the tactical point system queries used by ship AI behaviors. So this is interesting to me because this means that NPCs are going to start doing this stuff. Like it's more likely that we'll start seeing NPCs just doing normal things rather than just like maybe a few NPC ships and maybe some T-posing NPCs. I've already noticed in 3.24 that the NPCs seem to be a little bit more normal. Like they seem like still NPCs, right? But they were like sitting down. It looked like they were having, maybe you couldn't hear their conversations, but it looked like they were having conversation. They were living in the city, and like it felt like, you know, they were responsive a little bit more. It just felt more alive. The areas felt more alive in 3.24 so far. So yeah, there's that. Then for art for the characters, they're working on utility armor, which I was like, yes. They progressed with specialist armors. They supported requests for the character customizer and worked through art debt for loot items. So, you know, I think art debt, if I'm not mistaken, is like when they were supposed to fix some things and, or not fix some things. They were supposed to do art for things, but they just had such a backlog that they just had to add this to the backlog, and now they're finally catching up to that backlog. And then the character concept art team explored new designs for fauna, while the hair team progressed with additional hairstyles. You know what I'm saying? Additional hairstyles. Yes, I need some additional hairstyles. I don't know if you, but I need additional hairstyles. Thank you. This one was the biggest one. This one right here. July saw ship art working toward new milestones for the vehicles currently in production. Now, when they say vehicles, they also mean ships, including the RSI Polaris, which we knew was coming, and the Zeus. But then there's 3 unannounced ships that they're already working on art for. And it's saying that those are in production. So 3 unannounced ships are in production, at least. Now, these are just the ones that they're saying they worked on for the month of July. It doesn't mean that there's not more than 3, but there are 3 unannounced ships in production. I'm not going to say the names of them, but I think there's 2 of them that we would, know. Like, if you've been paying attention, you might already know 2 of them, but one of them I think is going to surprise everyone. So we'll see if that ends up happening. But even bigger, well, maybe not bigger, but in the same realm, production of 3 new vehicles kicked off. So it's weird because they say vehicles up top and they're talking about ships, but then they say vehicles down at the bottom and they're talking about actual drivable vehicles, not flyable, which is weird. And then 2 new concepts. So 3 new vehicles kicked off production. So production, I think, means that they're going in at least white box. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it goes pre-concept design is the first step. The second step is so let me see. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 6 steps. 6 steps total when they create a vehicle. I think you got pre-concept design, then you got concept, and then you have white box production, then gray box production, then final, and then you have flyable or preparation for flyable or something like that. Like, I don't know if it's either prep for flyable or flyable, I would say, is the last one. But that just basically means you could probably just call it polish, because everything's done on it. They're just literally waiting to release it, because they do sometimes have ships that are done. Everything is done with it, but there's literally no gameplay attached to it, so they just don't release it until the gameplay is ready, or at least some form of gameplay is ready for it. So why did I explain all of that? Because if they're saying it's in production, that means it is at least on step 3 of 6. So that means it is past the pre-concept design, it is past the concept design, and it is in at least white box. Doesn't mean that it's coming anytime soon. It just means that it's being worked on, and it's not just a drawing of something. Somebody's actually putting something together for it. It still doesn't mean that we're going to get it anytime soon. It speaks to that, especially with the new processes that they've been working on. So yeah, so it speaks to that. However, when it says alongside 2 new concepts, those are second stage. Well, they're in first stage now until they announce them and we can buy them, and then they're in the concept stage, right? So yeah, white box is nothing to shake a can at, really. Gray box is what we like to hear. Gray box means let's get some real work done on this. So I don't really get excited until I hear something has entered gray box, and I think that's why I'm super excited for the Polaris, the Zeus. I don't know what those unannounced ships are, but my guess is that at least some of those ships are done. I don't know if all of them are done, but I'm gonna guess that at least some of them are done. Yeah. Let's move on. So this was I think just some stuff from the Foundation Festival. Some community folks here, you know, at the Bar Citizens. I don't know which one this was. This was the DC Bar Citizen. This was the DC Bar Citizen. So yeah, I don't see which people were the devs. Oh, okay. I don't know. Nope. Yeah, I still don't know. Oh, maybe back here. I don't know. I don't know who. I can't see through the faces and find the devs. So you guys, if you see them, good for you. Core gameplay. So there were a few things in here that were actually pretty good. So I read that moving forward, all energy weapons will have the potential to overheat. That's going to be pretty big. Night vision for scopes is being worked on. The MFD rework took some steps forward. Jump points we already know about. Let's see. Distortion weapons. This is big. So distortion weapons will consume resources, but they won't be functional. So essentially, I'm working on this weapons series for distortion weapons, but I was always like, what does distortion actually do? You know, it's not 100% clear what it does. And maybe this has already been announced, but it's big for me because this makes it very clear what a distortion weapon does. It makes you, the thing that gets distortion damage still acts like it's on, but it's not actually providing the function it's supposed to provide. So if it's a cooler, it doesn't cool. If it's a power supply, it doesn't actually, you know, supply power, whatever. So I think that's actually really interesting. And when I read that, I was like, oh, that's what they mean by distortion. So that's pretty cool. Loving that engineering gameplay is coming online. I don't think it's going to be as crazy hard to do as a lot of people are thinking. I think a lot of people are like, oh, when engineering comes online, you're not going to be able to do anything with your big ship. So go and get a small ship. And I'm like, I don't think engineering is meant to make the game more annoying. I think it's meant to allow you to better use your ship, better optimize your ship, and repair things on your ship when they go bad, rather than just having to take the damage and when you blow up, right? Or when you get disabled, you get disabled. Like, I think that's where engineering gameplay is supposed to be. But yeah, you can go and play it yourself. I think it's in the, what is that mode? I don't know. It's like go into Arena Commander and there's a mode where you can test out engineering gameplay. Moving on though. Radar and scanning got some major updates. This was cool. The FPS ping from CitizenCon, that's changing a little bit, or I don't know if it's changing. Maybe they already announced this. So when you so at CitizenCon, they show this thing where when you're like going around and you can't see where the enemies are, you can ping and it'll show the enemies through walls and stuff. And they said when you do that, it'll leave some type of signature of some sort, so that when you do it, other people can tell that you just did it. And you know, but it's not automatic, like maybe they have to be too close or whatever. But this is saying that there will also be some type of audio signature that comes from that FPS ping, so people can tell you did it. But it should also work for us when we're trying to find out if other people are doing it to us. So that's pretty cool. Mission objectives will be able to spawn near planets in a random place, in Atmo and out of Atmo, and attached to players. That's really big. So that means it's no more like, you know, you have to land, go to a mission objective, wherever it is, whether it's on a planet, a moon, space station, wherever it is. Now it'll be something might spawn just in the atmosphere, just like kind of floating up there. Well, in Atmo, it's probably going to be more likely to be something that's supposed to be floating, because in Atmo, it would just fall to the ground if it wasn't something that's supposed to be floating. But outside of Atmo, you can imagine there being like some space debris or something out there. Or maybe, I think maybe this is to help with the asteroids. So like they have the asteroid missions that are coming for Pyro and everything. So I think that might help with that. And being able to attach to players is huge too, because now it's not like destroy this ship. And then if the person gets out of the ship and they go this way, it's like the mission marker's still here, but the person's over here or something like that. So I think that's pretty cool. Economy, the thing I saw in here, they did a balance pass on components. I know it says here they focused on life support and jump drives, but anytime there's a balance pass on components, I love that, because that means that it's very possible that they realize something wasn't working and they're going to make it start working. Because a lot of the components, they have stats that are not actually useful in game. Some of them, the stats are useful, not very useful. We're talking marginal gains, but some of them are useful, and I hope they fix the ones that are not. So let's see. I didn't really see anything in in-game branding, mission design. Oh, this one was huge. So mission design continue working on unannounced content alongside a suite that uses individual features to create a complex form of repair missions. For the latter, they identified key structures that would be used to ensure a location stays up and running and made them breakable. Folks, pair gameplay? I have a Vulcan and I've been waiting for that thing. You don't know, man. I want my Vulcan. I have a Crucible. I've been waiting on that thing. I want my Crucible. And they're starting to talk repair missions. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get those ships anytime soon. But if they're working on repair missions, my guess is that at least one of those repair ships isn't far behind. And my guess is the Vulcan, because the Crucible just seems like it's a lot of work. So we'll see. But if we even get a whiff of the Vulcan, I'm happy, because that's supposed to be my daily driver. I'm not supposed to be whipping around these MSRs and Corsairs and stuff. My daily driver is supposed to be a little repair ship that could, and I'm supposed to be going around doing repair missions on stuff. And what's so crazy is when I thought repair ship, I never really paid attention to the fact that we would be able to repair structures. That makes so much sense that we wouldn't just repair ships. We can repair structures. And so them identifying like, okay, this is what makes a location work, right? Like maybe it's the same stuff that's in a ship. Maybe there's a cooler on a hot planet, a heater on a cold planet, as in like the parts in this building won't work unless that's on, because otherwise everything would freeze or burn. So you need those things to work. Or not burn, but overheat. And then maybe there's power plants and stuff like that. And you can go in and repair these locations and get them up and running. So I am super looking forward to repair missions. I think it's going to be like me being, I have like, I want to do science as my primary gameplay. And then I want to like build stuff and like have my own little outposts and stuff and kind of like keep those going and kind of be like a, you know, like a, I don't know, like the mayor of my own little city, I guess. And one of the things I also think about is like how fun it would be to just go out and do like little repair missions. And I also plan on being like a doctor a little bit, you know, taking my Apollo out and doing some interesting things with that. So it's going to be a fun time. And repair missions, I think repair missions, I don't think they're going to be exactly how medical gameplay works, but I can see them taking some stuff from repair missions and using that for like how medical gameplay will work. But obviously I would think it would be more unique, and I think the repercussions for messing up are obviously greater when you're doing medical gameplay, but I can see them kind of reusing some stuff. So I can see those being kind of similar. I don't know yet, but that would be pretty cool. I think I saw this as well. They're working on like resource gathering. So the current focus is on emerging gameplay that pulls resources from the verse, starting with mining. For example, if a location requests a specific resource, the player can choose how to acquire it, be it mining, buying, or piracy, which I loved. And I think they talked about that in an ISC or a live. It was one of those two. But basically, if they're like, we want, you know, 20 agricium or whatever, then I should be able to figure out how I get that. Maybe I just want to go buy it over here because it's cheap. And I'm not really trying to like go and find agricium. I just want to get to, I'm trying to rep grind to get to a higher level. and maybe I have a bunch of money, so I'm just trying to say, all right, I'll just go buy all this stuff. I have $1 million to burn, so I'll just buy $1 million until I run out, and then I'll start doing the missions, and maybe my rep is higher because I brought them all this stuff. And it's like I'm basically just paying for that rep grind in game, of course, right? So yeah, I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Skipping ahead, I think online tech, I saw something really cool. The search bar on the freight kiosk is going to be huge. I know now how difficult it is to add a search bar to something, and I had no idea how difficult that was, and how many things it touched just to have things actually show up, make it clickable, how many screens it has to show up on, so on and so forth. So yes, they added a search bar. It doesn't seem like a big thing, but it is definitely a big thing. And to close us out, I didn't see much in UI, but again, ships. Finally, for July's report, the VX team continued to support several effects-heavy features, including jump points and dynamic fire. They also continue to work on acidic caves, and which is weird. It says acidic caves, right? And then you're just like, oh, and they also completed tasks for the RSI Zeus, which was up earlier, so we know that. But another unnamed vehicle, another one. So I don't know if that's in addition to the 3 that we saw earlier, and I don't even know if it's a ship or a vehicle. And then it says, look, tasks were also kicked off for 2 new weapons, so we're getting new weapons too. Now, those weapons might be the ones that we saw on that ISC that I think it was a few weeks back, maybe a month or so ago. I think there was 4 weapons on there, so it might be that, but I just don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't say it if they've already announced those weapons. So it could be crossbow, it could be, I think there was like an energy gun, and yeah, there was some other weapons. So I think there was like a really dirty one, or not dirty one. Was it dirty? It was like not dirty. It was makeshift. It was like a makeshift weapon that they had in there. So yeah, that is it. That's it for Star Citizen Nightly. I hope this one wasn't too long. I have no idea how long this is gonna be now, because yeah, I got attacked by bugs a few times. Like I don't know what, something made it into my house. So if you saw some jump cuts in there that didn't make sense, it's probably because I was fighting for my life in here. Yeah, anyway, that's it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Peace.